Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today, we're looking at the Cobra Sea Ray. The Sea Ray was first released in the United States in 1987. It included the Pilot Sea Slug. The Sea Ray was also sold in '88 and unfortunately was discontinued in 1989. Later, the Sea Ray was available bagged as a mail order offer by Hasbro Direct. So, looking at Sea Slug here, just another interesting character that they kind of came up with for a pilot. And then we have all the wonderful views here on uh, uh, Yojo.com here. My mind is just running as a blank, apparently. All right. So, getting some of the nice pictures that we do have here, we have a nice front view and a rear view. Now, this vehicle actually separates into two vehicles as the toy. Now, for game purposes here, when we look at this, I'm just going to keep this as a single vehicle with the ability to carry someone underneath, and that's just making it for um, kind of a ease of purpose here. Otherwise, I've got to really kind of break it down to figure out exactly how these two separate, speed wise and everything else. So I'm kind of leaving that alone. And looking at this, really, where does this really come in as far as the GI Joe and everything else in and of itself? So, in my view, and to take this for the grain of salt that it is, this is Cobra's answer to GI Joe having the shark. So if I leave it all together and we can have a pilot underneath where the second half would be. Um, it's supposed to be a glider, but you're going to have the missiles on here, and I just don't see how that's really going to work very well. That's why I really wanted to leave it the way it is. I know it's all fantasy and all that, but like I said, it also makes it easier trying to figure this out because I don't know how I'm going to go about trying to do this. So I figured it's just a little easier for me. We can always consider this an escape pod if you wanted or whatever, but that's how I'm kind of taking this as we keep going forward here. And it is an interesting vehicle, and I remember picking one of these up, and yeah, I was kind of getting a little on the older side for this, but GI Joe had always kind of fascinated me for just the idea, the concept, and I think that's why I probably joined the army, uh, which, which is funny and hilarious in and of itself. Um, we have some nice. We have what, four or eight missiles, as well as two laser cannons in the front. The nice schematic here. Um, and that's where I was kind of trying to grab some of the stuff here. So all these missiles are going to be listed as the same type of missile, and these cannons are going to be a fire-linked cannon here. Um, and then we have our wonderful stickers. All right, and we've bounced already back. Okay, so easily lost and or broken. The missiles and the engine cover are small and easily lost. We have this being featured in the Nintendo video game here. Um, let's see. Here it is again. I don't know if this is the same Nintendo video game or if this is a separate one. I don't really remember. I didn't have that game at all. And of course, we have our commercial spot here. So, and this only cost $6.89, which I do remember when I got it. I had to save up for a little while to get that, but it's just one of those things. So, um, yeah. So looking at this as far as our GI Joe Star Wars universe here, this is being listed as a speeder scale. It's roughly about 30 feet, I figure. I really don't know what kind of a length to truly put on this. If I'm saying that we're taking up maybe about 5 feet here, we're going to add another 2 feet here, maybe another 3 feet. And how far is that going back? So, um, you know, this might be 10 feet here, maybe another 10 feet. Maybe it should only be 20 feet long. I don't know. I'm just leaving it as 30, just giving it that length. Not that it really means a lot. We can always just say it's whatever. So we do have it as listed as a crew of one because we only have a single pilot and then passenger, because I do want to note that there is a spot for someone to sit underneath there. We have a cargo capacity of about 220 pounds. I left that in there. Um, Actually, that probably should get dropped, but I'll just leave it for now. We do have full coverage on this, and kind of going off of like the helicopter and that, figuring for the maximum flight ceiling of this, seeing that much like the GI Joe Shark, it is a functioning plane too. So trying to play both sides of this, so I figured 20,000 feet would work on this. Seeing that I had looked that up for I believe the helicopters or light planes. So that's where I'm kind of grabbing that from. I gave it a 2D maneuverability in the air and a 1D plus 1 in the sea. I figured the wings might give it a little bit of a drag, but it is their answer to the Shark. And the Shark is a smaller vehicle here, but it doesn't have all the missiles. So I'm just kind of leaving it in those regards. Speed, our movement, we can go about 210 miles per hour or 600 kilometers per hour. I give it a body strength of 3D. Keep in mind you are kind of crashing into the water here. We want to have a little resilience there. So that's part of the thought that I have. And they do talk about it in the schematics that this is all reinforced for being able to just kind of crash into the water. So from their own kind of write up in the schematics and all that, that's where I'm taking that from. So we do have 8 anti-air missiles, very similar to what we've seen in the past on some of these vehicles, with a fire control of 1D and damage of 7D. Just kind of playing that out. All right, so we do have a dual laser cannon, again, fire control of 1D and damage of 7D. So I think on one of the other ones we only had a single. This is a dual, so I upped it a little bit. Oops, these aren't supposed to be turreted though. I did kind of goof up on that one. I wasn't paying attention when I did that. We want that forward or front facing. As I'm trying to do these and make sure I'm doing it justice and that, sometimes I kind of forget some things here. Now, I guess the big question is for the anti-air, give them a little bit more lethality here. I think what we'll do is we'll actually knock those up to Walker scale. So that way, if they're taking on any starfighters or whatever, it drops it down a little bit, but it does raise up the fire control. Just like if I was going to use this, because most often I'm thinking they're going to fly this kind of at any invading APC or whatever, or some other landing craft. It's going to be fairly lethal to them. So I think it kind of balances things out. That way we're not doing the same damage on both here. But yeah, I think this kind of gives it a nice flavor to it. Like I said, I didn't have this separate on purpose because really then I've got to make 2 vehicles and trying to figure out exactly how we should go for the glider part. I don't know how many extra engines we want to say is on there. On the very back by our tail here, I believe that's supposed to be like a small kind of engine back there that can kick in, but how fast is that going to go in comparison? I really didn't want to get into that, so it's just my take on it all. Right or wrong, like I said, it is my take on it all. So with that, thanks for watching. Thanks for stopping by. It's always fun having you guys around. Hope you have a wonderful day. We'll see you in the next video.